Um,
Yeah.
so really, where I would sort of take it next is, okay, if we've got somebody who's now beginning to get to grips with the role, they're developing the skill set that goes with it. What's the mindset apart from let's not do the comparisons, let's be yourself, let's be transparent and feel good about you? What else comes with that mindset, do you feel, about leadership particularly? Because it is a very different role than being a peer-to-peer as part of a team, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I think with anything with mindset, it's being really consciously aware about what's going on in your mind. So often we go through habits and behaviors, and our unconscious mind and our ego runs these patterns that we believe are who we are. And it's becoming really consciously aware of our mindset about how these voices inside are potentially serving us or not serving us. So, if we get this sense of I'm not good enough, or who am I to be a leader, or this sense of people are going to be judging me, this sense of people's perception of me, it's really becoming consciously aware of that. And that's where the whole mindset shift starts to begin, when we start noticing it. If I think back to my corporate career, I wasn't consciously aware of it. I was going through habits and patterns and this self-belief and this self-sabotage of, going to do, big deals with Tesco and Sainsbury's, driving 5 hours down the motorway, believing in the car this deal wasn't going to come off, and it's becoming really, really consciously aware of our mindset is the first thing.
Yeah.
And that's where coaching really helps, because I provide both in one-to-one and in a group, that safe space to really be open and vulnerable. Brené Brown will talk about vulnerable leadership and how powerful that is for us to be vulnerable and open and honest with actually what's going on in our mindset. And why that is absolutely so powerful is because when we can experience that shift as a leader, we can then create that environment for our team to be vulnerable and open and honest. And if you look at the biggest high performing teams, and the one key quality of a high performing team is about trust, about communication, it's about openness, and it's about honesty. That's the key factor that makes the difference between a good performing team and a high
performing team. Yeah, I can
yeah.
totally agree. Yes, I would say those are core values of a quite different group who are able to be completely open with each other. And that openness and honesty stretches right across the gamut, actually, from, personal loss at one end. I can tell you that I've lost somebody and I'm going through a rough time, to the other end of, I've actually got my doubts about whether or not I'm good enough for this role. And those kind of admissions are really very important, because what I think that says next is that we're all a bit wired for approval.
Yes.
It's almost Freudian for us to have to work out where we got this from, because clearly it's almost in our DNA. Nearly all of us seem to be sensitive to this, and I would guess it probably comes from our schooling and our our parenting. I mean, at the end of the day, it's probably a mixture. But I think it's very important not to drop into that gap. If there is a gap between what you want and what you've got, or what you want and what you're doing right now, don't fill that gap with mental chatter that is highly negative. Go instead for the kind of solution-oriented coaching that will support you whilst you transition across that gap.
Absolutely. Because that mindset chatter, again, when we go back to energy, it's draining. It's overwhelming.
Completely.
This self-doubt, this going into a meeting and coming out of a meeting and thinking, did I say the right thing? Or what does so-and-so think of me? Are they going to judge me? It's exhausting. And then if how is that really impacting on being that powerful leader? Because one element of leadership is inspiring your team, and if your energy is just drained because of this mindset chatter and this self-doubt and these second voices going through your head, it's going to create an impact on your energy to inspire and motivate your team as well.